Welcome to Center Heist Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Muchly appreciated. Thanks to my subscribers and my followers. Muchly appreciate that as we have built an integral channel that's been in existence for over 2 years now. And all we ask is keep it civil. Love comments. Bring your comments, but keep them civil. And please tell your family and friends about it and share the video, and let's get a bigger community here and let it grow as we have an integral community. As I said, we this channel focuses on discussing things that are going on within the Habs, reviewing games, and we keep it to factual information. I'm not one for Gossipville. Just doesn't sit right with me. I'd rather discuss things as they actually fall because I don't feed off of just wanting a story, and 9 times out of 10 they don't happen. Just because that's what some people will get into, I don't do that. I'd rather when the chips fall, we'll discuss it. All right. I am so pumped, pumped. Go Habs, go, 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 go. I can't wait till we get to a point where I get some guests in the future. It just makes it a little more exciting than me just talking sometimes. And when we go live as well, that'll probably be a good thing too. However, now we're going to review last night's game. What a game! What a game! Rangers were in town, and after that blowout against the Leafs, back-to-back games, and we come back and we just show so much resilience in this game. 4 times we were behind, and 4 times we came back, and then we pull out the victory. Incredible. I can't say enough about the resilience of the Habs. I'm so proud of them as for a young team. They got a lot to learn, and they're learning it. But they didn't quit. It was go, 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 go. Even for Dobish, this was probably his shakiest start, and he probably had a lot of nerves in front of the Montreal crowd. At home, he wanted it, but boy, be careful what you wish for. However, when the chips counted, he ended up in a game where the opposite goaltender, Sean. And what more can you say about Jonathan Quick? He was definitely outstanding. But Dobish did something which was, you always want your goaltender when you run into a hot goaltender just to be able to hang in there. And when it counted, he came through. Great on the kid. But this team, wow, the resilience. All right, let's get into it. We'll get into the stats, and then we'll talk more. All right, so first period, 2 goals to 1 for the Rangers. Second period, 2 goals apiece. Third period, a goal for the Habs, no scoring for the Rangers. Overtime, 1 goal for the Habs, huge goal. Beautiful, and that was after a couple of outstanding saves by Dobish, and Montreal was able to reward him 5-4 victory. So Dobish gets the win. And Quick took the loss. And to make no mistake, Jonathan Quick was the star of this game. Patrick Lonnie gets the winning goal. All right. In Montreal, Patrick Lonnie scored 3:20 into overtime, and the Montreal Canadiens beat the New York Rangers 5-4 on Saturday night. Brendan Gallagher and Christian Dvorak had a goal and an assist, and Nick Suzuki and Yuri Slavkovsky also scored for the Canadiens, who trailed 4-3 leading into the third period. Jakub Dobish had 23 saves, including 2 highlight reel stops before Lonnie ended the game to improve to 5-0 for his career. Alex Lafreniere, Will Cooley, and Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider scored, and Adam Fox had 2 assists for the Rangers, who snapped a 2-game win streak. Jonathan Quick, who was in search of 400th career win, made 33 saves. I mean, he stood on his head. And I've always had so much respect for Jonathan Quick. I actually love this guy. He was always a goaltender that I had so much regard for. One of the top goaltenders in his peak in the league at his time. All right, and no doubt about it, where the L.A. Kings won their cups due to him. All right, first star, Brendan Gallagher, outstanding. And like I said in the previous game, Gallagher had against the Leafs, a little bit of a weaker game where he showed up more so minutes, um, very few minutes left in that game. But this was what we wanted to see, Gallagher all night, and he has been that way for 99% of the season. So this is what we want. This is vintage Gallagher. He was phenomenal. 1 goal, 1 assist, plus two. Um, Patrick Lonnie had a good, solid game. 1 goal, beautiful goal in overtime, plus one. Um, Adam Fox, he had a really strong game. I still say Jonathan Quick should have been the first star. I don't care. I know we won. Jonathan Quick stood on his head. And as good of a game as Adam Fox had with 2 assists plus one, I think Jonathan Quick outshone everybody. I'm sorry. This is where I tend to not like the way they picked the 3 stars. Big discrepancies of who actually stood out. All right, let's get into the scoring summary. First period, 11-17. Alex Lafreniere gets a goal, assisted by Keandre Miller. And yeah, it's 1-0. This again, I have to say this was you could definitely tell Dobish had nerves because there's a couple goals in those 4 goals that I think he could have stopped. Definitely his shakiest start out of all 5 games he had. By far, he was a little shaky in this game. Um, no doubt about it. However, I still think he was the right choice for this game because I think when it counted, he came through, and he managed to hold hang in, and that's all you can expect because when you run into the opposition goaltender standing on his head the way he did, all you can ask from your goaltender at that point is just hang in, and he did. And I don't think there's anybody else that would have in our system other than Jacob Fowler, but that he's a little bit of a ways off. But I'm talking about between what's in our Laval Montreal system. I think this is the only guy that would have been able to hang in there the way he did, and that's all you can expect. So that was great in that aspect. Then 13:52, Brendan Gallagher gets his nice goal there, nice deflection in from Christian Dvorak. And Josh Anderson. Josh Anderson had a phenomenal game. Got a little scary when he had a bit of an injury there. So definitely something went on. It was a little nerve wracking because I love the way Josh has been playing this season. It's like a new Josh Anderson. I think Marty has helped him find a new uh, himself in a new way. And I think he's become a much better player than he ever was. So kudos to Josh Anderson. And like I said, that whole line was what we wanted. Saw last night. Dvorak had a good game as well. And we already said that Galley had a great game. So 14:38, we had just tied it. 14:38, Cooley scores. And I believe this was the one where Jack made an errant pass. And, this is we made some mistakes, and that's where they were catching us. And this happened to be Jack Ice, and I know he was kicking himself for that one. There's no doubt about it. And that's where, and I've seen this more than enough through all the Habs. They've got to make sure they've got enough mustard on a pass out or where they're putting the puck and not play guessing games. They do this sometimes. Sometimes they're like previous game. I found Galley was, and we seen plays like Galley and even Josh Anderson make and Newhook make passes not looking, and there's no Hab there, and immediately going down the ice the opposite way. That stood out in Toronto's game. But anyway, that's something we seem to show in each game. Some errant plays where we just don't get enough mustard out or don't put it in the right place. Something we got to watch. So anyway, they go ahead. They're up 2-1. Chris then 507. Great, tip in by Christian Dvorak. It's by Gallagher. New hook on the power play. Great to see that. And it was an odd, weird goal. But when Dvorak scores, Montreal's having a good night. Then 10-24. Of course, Zibanejad makes us pay on a penalty we take. Adam Fox and Panarin get the assist on that power play goal. They go ahead. And what a wonderful! What can you say about the captain? Just resilient. I love the way Nick has been playing. He's been phenomenal. 15:05 unexpected. He just intercepts that pass and he wires it home, catching New York off guard. And he's just so accurate when he gets an opportunity like that. So great on Nick. And funny enough, it's his 14th goal. Uh, but then 16:20, Montreal leaves Chris Kreider wide open, no coverage, and he's going to make you pay when you do that. And Adam Fox and Lindgren assisted that one. That's a play that you cannot allow a guy like Chris Kreider. We know this from history. He's a Habs killer. So that was huge. Third period comes. What a goal. Very impressed with the way Yara Slafkovsky plays. That's how he has to play. He played very well defensively. Had some big hits. Happy with that. He was very physically involved. That's how Yara has to play if he wants to be successful. He has to accept it. It's going to be rough and tough on his body, but he also stood out moving his feet. And he was moving his feet all night, and he made some nice defensive plays. This is how Uri has to play. And it seems like you almost got to get him pissed off to play properly. It just seems to be the way, because there were some bad calls against the Habs where we'd get an extra penalty, and there was like, really? And then there was one, a play there on one of New York's goals where guy uh, definitely knocked Matheson down, and on the power play, and of course they're going to score. And it's usually a called play, but no, and I think it was Kreider that was the guy that did it. But anyway, so it got Ure motivated and involved, and nice to see that response from him. And just shows you this is the way Ure has to play. He has to go to the net hard. And he did. Lane Hudson sets it to Cole Caulfield, who just burst in with that phenomenal speed. And what a playmaker. We love Cole. He's got that shot, but he also can make a beautiful play. He's hard to contain, and he puts the pass out in front, and Ura's coming full steam to catch up and get into the play. And beautiful job. And this is the way. And pays the price and takes the ultimate sacrifice. And that's what guys got to do. You got to be willing to sacrifice your body, and you're right, did, because he got leveled when he scored that goal coming in where he couldn't stop, but he just took him right out. But who cared? You see him laying on the ice and he's celebrating it. So great resilience. The four times coming back, then overtime comes, and after a couple of outstanding, unbelievable saves by Dobish, which you didn't expect because Quick was by far the better goaltender, and that's not a knock against Dobish. It's just he was hot, and I still say Quick was the star of this game. To be honest, I don't care win or lose. He was the star of this game, and he should have been picked as it. And of course they don't. But anyway, because of those great timing saves that Dobish makes in overtime, that's what I'm saying about hanging in. And lots Montreal to say, okay, he just gave us an opportunity to say, hey, here's a chance. I'm trying to keep us in, boys. Now it's your turn. And they do. They go down the ice, and Caden Gooley goes down with phenomenal speed. Patrick Lonnie, like Slavkovsky, keeps up in the play, heading for the net, the front of the net, and is rewarded. Nice pass out from Gooley, and Patrick Lonnie's not going to make a mistake. Like he said, he just taps it in right on the tape. Beautiful play. Beautiful game. Uh, Montreal, this game could have been over in the first period had Montreal been able to capitalize on a lot of the opportunities they had, especially in the first period. But there were opportunities right through the game. I mean, it was Jonathan Quick. let's be realistic. That was just stood on his head. 38 shots to 27 for Montreal. That's pretty outstanding. Hits 17 to 16. Pretty equal there. Face-offs 27 to 24 for the Rangers. Power plays 1 for 2 for the Rangers. They're deadly. That's why you can't give them power plays. 0 for 3 for Montreal. We played around with the puck a little too much, and that wasn't so pretty. Penalty minutes 17 to 15 for the Rangers. Giveaways, we got to. This is what hurt us. Giveaways, and this is the aspect of the game I think we got to work on. 24 to 15 for the Habs. Takeaways 7 to 6 for Montreal. That's not bad. Block shots, we were a little bit. They did block some shots though. 14 to 15. Great game. Josh Anderson gets a penalty at 14:43, 2 minutes for roughing in the first period, and then that was with Enstrom, and good on Josh because they were trying to take advantage of Galley, this much smaller player, and good to see Anderson get involved. And boy, did he flip him and wasn't backing down from Enstrom, who wanted to act like Mr. Big Bully. Um, Brendan Gallagher gets 2 minutes for. Actually, I think it was actually, truthfully, no, I think it was Snyder. To be honest, then yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Snyder. He also got 2 minutes. There was four guys involved. Enstrom got didn't end up in the mix with Anderson. He was kind of in the mix with Galley, but Snyder got involved, and Anderson kind of took it to him, although they didn't get in totally able to free up in a fight, but they were ready. Then we seen at 2:58 Matt Rempe. You knew this was coming because there was a bunch of chirping going on between him and Jack Eye pregame. But Matt Rempe, you knew it was coming. He didn't give Jack Eye a choice. He started swinging at Jack Eye when Jack Eye didn't even have his gloves off and wasn't totally hadn't even accepted the fight. So that I doesn't impress me, but I love Jack Eye's response. And did he ever kick the Giants' ass? And that's what I like. You talk about David and Goliath. There you go. He slayed the giant, and he looked so good when he got those lefts going. And I seen visuals of Chris Nyland in that fight. It was giving me flashbacks. He protected himself, which is amazing because he hasn't done a ton of it this year, but he's doing it a lot smarter. He made sure that Rempe would get the extra 2 minutes. I still think Rempe should have got a 2 minute instigating fight, to be quite frank. I mean, come on, the guy was swinging at the guy even before he accepted the fight. He wasn't even looking his way, and he was swinging at him. So that's a NHL officiating for you. And I know some people will say, well, hey, that's just wait. No, I think there's good calling and there's bad calling. And I mean, come on, when the guy's already threw about three punches before the guy's even ready for it, and he's a giant, that just kind of shows a little bit of stupidity on the way I see that. Shows the intelligence of the player, but I loved Jack Eye's response. He protected himself. He looked like Chrissy Nyland protecting himself through some great rights, but then when he got the left going, he really took it. Then he caught Rempe and he took him down, and it looked. I was surprised because I thought, man, are you really? Is he ready? Because he hasn't been fighting that much, so I thought Rempe might get the best of him. I thought this was a fight maybe you don't want. However, he just brutalized. Rempe looked good on him. Love it. Go, Jack Eye, go. Showing intelligence. He made sure the other guy at least got the extra time, which gave Montreal a power play. Using his smarts a lot. And I think that's something that we all have to appreciate. And I know Marty doesn't like this part of the game, but I thought it's part of the game. And he better have a respect for the distance that Jack Eye has come, because Jack Eye's playing intelligently, where this is what Marty wanted from him, to use his brain cells a little more, and he's used them a lot more. Now, I didn't like his response with Reeves, although he leveled him several times later. But I think at some point in the game he should have taken on Reeves where he was invited. I didn't like I was like Chris Nyland. I didn't like the wave off, and I didn't like the looking up at the clock thing that he signaled to Reeves. that wasn't a turn on. Just didn't look good. So I agree with Chrissy there. And Caden Gooley gets 2 minutes for roughing, served by Patrick Lonnie. Caden Gooley, 2 minutes for roughing. He had a solid game. Philip Seidel, 2 minutes for roughing. Josh Anderson, 2 minutes for cross checking. Adam Fox had 2 minutes for delay of game. Oro Vikinen had 2 minutes for interference. That was the way the penalty thing happened. I don't usually go into that totally, but anyway, let's talk. There's so many storylines here. I may miss one. It was a beautiful game. Like I said, I do believe there was a couple goals there that I think Dobish could have had out of the four. However, not a knock against him. I think there was a lot of nerves first time, and he admitted it at the end of the game. Hey, I didn't win this game. That team in front of me won the game, and he's correct. However, to credit him, which I don't, and I'll say it again, I don't think had we had a different goaltender in the net, we would have lost this game. I'm convinced of that because he came up with those massive saves, those couple of massive highlight reel saves in OT, and that allowed the boys to come down the ice and get that Patrick Lonnie goal. So I credit the kid. He hung in, and sometimes you got to hang in because make no mistake, Jonathan Quick was the number one star in this game. No mistake. How he hung in there with, I mean, they made him work his tush off. How Alex Newhook missed when he had the side of the net open. I don't know how he missed that. However, we're also looking at just how phenomenal Quick is. And Quick's always like that. And he's always played Montreal well. He There's no let up with Jonathan Quick. You don't get, for the most part, he gives you solid games. Totally impressed. I've always been a Jonathan Quick fan. And wow, he was just outstanding because there were so many missed opportunities by the Habs. And after seeing, you could tell I think he pulled something in his groin or leg, having to stretch so much, making phenomenal saves, robbing Habs left, right, and centers. And I mean, the Habs were pouring it on. But, the high danger chances. Make no mistake, the Rangers are so well seasoned. That's why we fell behind four times because they made no mistakes on the mistakes we made. They capitalized. They got sharpshooters. They're an experienced team with some serious goal scorers there. Making Zibanejad is Panarin. I mean, you look at those guys, Kreider. These guys are really super talented. Fox, what more can you say? Snyder, that team's loaded. And even though they've, been playing poorly, but they've gotten their game back together recently. So that's both of these teams wanted that game. But you have to be sitting there thinking, if you're a Rangers fan or a Rangers player, you have to think in their head, how many times do we have to get the lead in order to beat this team? They had it, and they must have. I guarantee you, over and over they thought they had this game in their pocket, and the Cabs would just come right back. They never let up. They had to be saying, "This team's crazy." And they had to be thinking that. They had to be thinking this team is so young, but resilient. And the officiating was questionable. I mean, there's so much to be impressed about. Um, that's why I'm not going to slam. I mean, there's some moments. Defensively, there were moments by a few different players. We know there were mistakes made, and the Rangers made us pay. Undoubtedly, there was some bad officiating here and there too, spotty officiating. Uh, Happens in the NHL, happens in a lot of games. Just the way it is. It's always been that way. So you have to live with it. But when you can keep the resilience and stand by your game, and that's what these kids did. They're really building a culture here. I like what I see coming from this team. They more than impressed me, and I can't really knock any one player for their effort last night. Just a good, solid team effort. Now, however, I can't wait till Emil Heineman's back. That's no knock against Beck, but that line just is that much more deadly with Heineman in there. There's no doubt about it. I think they made a wise move that they put back in for the time being as an emergency call up just to cover until Heineman gets back. I think that was something because we were getting nothing out of Pizzetta, unfortunately, and it's a shame because there's so many ways you can look at that story that Pezzi really not getting. Was he given a fair shake with enough ice time? But it's unfortunate he just didn't grab onto it either. So it's kind of a combination. Although you wish they would give him more opportunity because he's hung in as a true pro for the amount of games he's been on the sidelines. So it is what it is. I can't get into that story. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but wise move to bring Beck in, but they are missing Heineman. There is no doubt it's been showing up quite a bit, the fourth line. Thank God that there's so much cohesion between Evans and Armia that they always play pretty darn solid, but it makes it so much better when you got Heineman in there because the three of them play so well together. And I will state this on another point. I just wanted to make this. I know we're all 100% behind them re-signing Evans, and I agree. Let's hope. Of course, there's gonna have to be some major give and take in that contract talk. But I'm going to tell you something. If you're a true fan, you have to be honest. Joel Armia, since he was sent down to Laval last year, has been a different hockey player, and he has been extremely important to this team. For me, I would love to see him get re-signed as well, just for a shorter term, though. In his case, maybe for I don't know if they could pull it off a 2-year contract with him. It would be nice because I think he's getting closer to the point of there's not going to be many years left in his case. So I do think it would be nice if we seal the deal with him too, because I love that line of Heineman. I'd like to see that line go another season with Heineman, Evans, and Armia go for as long as it can go, because it's going to be hard to when you got a line that's that cohesive. That's been our best line all year, and when they're that cohesive, man, you want to keep that together because not many teams got that. They might not be this crash and bang line, but they're just a solid line and they bring major production. So you get 100% of them. They're dangerous. That's why it gives Montreal that. Like Marty said, I got no 1, 2, 3, 4 line because the lines are all playing so well. And right now, that's what I really like is Montreal's playing that well. All the lines played well last night. I don't want to slam anybody. Yeah, there's a few missed assignments that we paid the price on, and it didn't look great. It looked like we were going to lose that game last night. Dobish looked shaky out of his 5 starts. Hard, though, to play in Montreal like that, but I give him credit. Again, Jonathan Quick was outstanding and stood on his head. And for opposition goaltender to be in that position, not many goaltenders can hang in that situation just to get your team through. Hang on, but then make those massive saves he made in overtime. Way to go, kid. And I loved his response because the media likes to blow things in the wrong direction. And when they question him, he had it right. I didn't have a strong game, he said. This was one of my shakier ones. My performance was a little, yeah. And he said it, but he said it was the team in front of me. And he's correct. Although, I like his humbleness. He didn't mention that those massive saves he made, he at least came up with the big saves when it was needed at the end, when it's do or die. So way to go, Habs. We have Tampa Tuesday. That's going to be they got a rough schedule, man. This is tough, and they impressed me so much. Go, Habs, go. You've seen it here. You'll see me review the Lightning game. It shall be interesting. I am so pumped with and impressed. Go, Habs, go. We'll catch you in the next one. Please hit the like, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one. God bless.